All right, welcome back to part two of the Shroom Shroocast session on the Lucian build-up and card discussion. It is I, Rudo, aka Justin Jehst, joined once again by French blade Rust Cohle. How are you, Rusty?
I'm doing very good. What about you?
Doing very well. And also we have Adam Lay, aka B17. How are you?
I'm feeling a lot less. I'm feeling better. Feeling better. Yes, better.
That's good.
Less drunk.
So we will head straight into this one and get on with the show. Same deal as the night one podcast in terms of the layout. So we will start with the first match of night two right here, right now, which is the Monsters Ball, the legendary Monsters Ball. So for the build, I've given it a B. I think it's been short but impactful, especially with all the video role plays that these guys have put together. It makes a huge difference, I think. At least for me, I'm a visual person, so seeing the visual stuff, like I enjoy the role plays as well, but I think there's something about a video role play that just gives it that added oomph, and particularly because these guys all have history and are well known in OCW, it's a easy one to get behind. And the pick that I have for this one was very difficult to choose, but I have to. I'm going with Mez Murdoch on this one to come out on top. Rusty, what are your thoughts?
Interesting. I love the matchup. I thought it was really well, made with all the videos, and it was funny as hell with the J reaction on stream and everything with gorilla noises. Really, it's I loved it. First, I didn't knew what was coming with Mez returning after all those years. The last time we saw it, it was against Tyson Wagner, I think, in a street fight. I think it was a card like 3 years ago, something like that. I could be wrong with in those times. And he returned, and I said, "What should he do? What will he do to make his way to Lucian?" He runs upon Malu, and then KD. Three beefy men, three legends of the industry, and I gave the build 7 out of 10 with the hype of the match eventually, with the winner being Malu, because Malu is a beast. He is a beast on the sticks and on everything, and I like the new look with the long hair. I prefer the style than the short hair he had against Rex. But yeah, the KD add-on to the feud was a very welcome one, because KD is not really the gatekeeper of OCW. He's a legend. We should not forget about it. And he can hold it more than his own in the ring. So I give a slight edge to Malu, but I'm looking forward, especially if it's the opening of night two. It's going to be a banger, no doubt. Adam?
I definitely give it like 5 bingo punches in terms of the build, just for the sheer enjoyability of rewatching gorilla noises and Jay losing his freaking mind. It was hilarious. That alone right there makes me love the build. And it's been very creative in terms of the video work that's been done. So got to give a shout out for that. In terms of most likely victor here, I mean, Malu is, controlled by Nate. And he is just incredibly good at the game, regardless of how much time he's been away. But KD is more active, more matches. And then, I don't really know how much playtime Mez has, gotten. But I imagine that everything's going to flow really well. It's going to look nicely. I'm going to go with Malu just from the standpoint of who is the most dangerous at the top of their game. And I would say that's Malu.
We actually agree. Incredible. Back to you, Rudo.
Back to the next one. So the next on the card, where are we? We're going to the Wolf of Wall Street fight?
Yep.
Okay. So for this one, I'll give it the build a B+. I think there's been some great video work and storytelling with these guys, and I love the dynamic between the sort of like lower income British fighter character competing against this rich American sort of Ponzi guy character, which is, it's always a good fight, and I love that sort of underdog versus the rich guy story. It's always a interesting story to follow and watch along, and of course both these guys really bring it on the sticks as well. So in terms of that side of things, I think it's going to be a really, really good match to watch. And I also think Archer's Turmoil promo on the Go Home show was a really great wrap up and hyped the match up perfectly. Saying the event, Wrestlution 14, blah 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 blah. I think that's really important to sort of wrap things up like that. So I really enjoyed that side of things, and obviously with Archer being a nemesis to one of Jehst's nemesis, I'm picking green to pick up the win in this one. So Rusty, what do you?
I got it because I got plenty to say here.
Go for it.
I remember, Doc and Antonio, they were talking like, I feel like Doc Green can kind of go either way with his character development. No, Doc Green is an absolute scumbag. He can't go either way. He is a heel one way. Cut, dry, simple put. I understand he's kind of had some face tendencies, but he also betrayed his best friend. He sneak attacks people. I mean, you're betraying the best friend right there. That just makes you a scumbag. I've actually been cheering for Thomas Archer, which I never thought would be possible. I see Thomas Archer as more of a sympathetic figure in this, regardless of how big of a douchebag he is. But in terms of who's going to win this match, I gotta say Doc Green's going to win this match. I know a lot of people are like, there's no difference when you switch over from PS4 to Xbox. Yeah, there is. There is a tremendous difference. There was for me anyways. Maybe it's because I'm a fucking idiot, but I kept hitting like the wrong buttons. So I was like, hey, hit X. So I grabbed, what the hell, A? Okay, great. But the timing is different, and Doc Green is really good. In terms of builds, it's like, 4 bingo punches, but I think Doc Green's got this one in the bag, easy peasy, even though I would prefer Thomas Archer to win.
Damn, it makes 2 out of 2 tonight for predictions. Exactly what you said, Adam. I think in this feud, I see Doc as the more heelish guy, and Thomas Archer, as weird as it is, as the kind of baby face, because he's just there and just being Thomas Archer, just being a prick. But weird, Doc has been doing some bad shit. He's a bad man, no doubt about it. And I'm glad that Doc kept rolling with the bad attitude thing, not that he completely switched to a face again in an instant. So it's more like a Steve Austin feel, but way too early to be a heel that you like to cheer. It's more a heel that you like to spit on. But Archer, yeah, it's a tough word, but Archer is also that kind of heel. But in that build, that exact build, he comes off as a sympathetic character, almost, as you said. So I want Archer to win, because I think it's the less heel of the two, and that's the only heel versus heel match on the card. But I think Doc is going to win easily. It's going to be a good match. I gave that 6.5 out of 10 because first I didn't understood the logic between Doc and Archer, but then Doc explained himself and made it more clear. So I enjoyed it by that time. Doc is going to win because a lot of difference between Xbox and PlayStation. Even though fuck you, Brian used to tell otherwise, it's a tremendous difference. So yeah, Doc.
Good.
Cool.
Can't believe we agree.
And next on the bill to keep things rolling, we have Jehst and Rust versus Leo Grimm in a long build-up to Lucian in an Extreme Rules match. I won't obviously say my pick for obvious reasons, but in terms of the build from my side of things, I really enjoyed working with Leo. I think he did some really great jobs with the voice promos, which added a lot of feel to his character and to the build as well. And I think we've done a lot of varied segments. I think this has been going for like almost 3 months by the time Lucian rolls around. Since the tag match that we had against the Lost Boys pre-Road to Glory, it's sort of been building since then. So, just sort of coming up with ideas with Leo to stretch it out to Lucian. And I hope people have enjoyed it, and I hope that the closing roleplay from the Turmoil show has given some sort of final spice to the mix going into Lucian. But Rusty, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, let me go first. Yay! It's maybe my favorite build of all the builds in this Lucian, because it adds so many things. Like I said before, I thought Grim... what is he doing? I thought Grim was a villain from horror movies, like we all assume. Yeah, I don't think you need to point that out. We all see he's evil. And I didn't know what to expect with the matching of Jehst, because they're totally different, but it made sense, and the promos are fucking great. It's like watching a horror movie. You can feel the things, you can feel for Jehst, and everybody wants Jehst to win, but now I think more people douche.
Hey, man.
More people are attracted to Leo Grimm, because he has bad internet connection, but that's not on him. But his persona, his call, I hated the call first when he came, because it was Friday the 13th, Kane, like you saw a million times in the call community, but he made it work because of his promos with the dragon and everything, and his actions. And he got better on the sticks. So I'm really, really, really hyped up for this match. I actually gave it a 9 out of 10 in my April match. And I hope it delivers. Extreme Rules just needs to come out on fire. He needs to beat his ass. Like, for everything that he did, just need to go up top. And that's what I like. And I'll give the hand to Adam next. Jehst as an extra layer in that build that we never saw. We saw Hollywood USA, we saw the bright lights, we saw the wrestling, but we didn't saw, except in that match against Archer in the ladder match, that fire, that that passion, that hopelessness, all those things that made Jehst and Hollywood Star is going to go off, and that is going to be just a brawler for revenge. So there you go, Adam.
Oh, you got very passionate about that. I really appreciate that. I agree with a lot of things you said. When Leo Grimm first came in, I felt it was one of the worst characters that I had seen in OCW in the time that I've been here. And here's the thing, and pretty much for everything they stated, cliche, very similar to just about everything we saw. Didn't really stand out. I remember he and I kind of got in this discussion once. And I said, "You can't be a monster when you're trying to do something that someone has already done before you, and they did it better than you, and they're doing it better than you currently. Like, you want to be this intimidating person within the ring, but you can't be a monster because there's other people who are just monsters in the ring, and they don't even have to act like it. They just are." And he took that and he created something uniquely different. He got better on the sticks. The inclusion of the dragon, and even though some of the voice programs were a little cringy at first, they were very long and stuff, he's narrowed his focus. He understands it better. He's much more direct, and he's one of those people that want to say, hey, great job listening and taking advice and rounding it into what you need. So when Jehst showed up and wasn't involved with the Lost Boys, he lost to Sparks and stuff, and then he transitioned into this feud. It was great to see because it was such a polar opposite in terms of this good guy versus this bad guy. And it's one of those things that naturally seems to get lost with an OCW, is this very distinctive, who is the heel, who is the face. And this one is very clear-cut, very dry and straight to the point, and I really appreciate something like that. And at the beginning of the year, I remember saying Jehst is going to be my breakout pick. Here's where things get complicated. Jehst came over to the Xbox side of things, things are a bit different over here. It's one of the best things that happened to him because he's getting new competition, new potential stories. He's going to come back to PS4 eventually one day, and it's going to be huge in the sense that it's going to be fresh again. Same thing I did. Many people have done it before. It's really nice to see. But Jehst doesn't have a definitive win. He doesn't have upward trajectory. And I predicted at the beginning of the year he was going to find that somewhere. I don't think he's going to find it here. I don't think he's going to win. This is one of those moments where, once again, I've played Leo. I haven't played Jehst. But I did watch him. I have watched his matches. The person who has the most upward trajectory in this match is not the person I expected it to be, and that's Leo Grimm. So I pick Leo. In terms of build, a little bit of cringe here, a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, sometimes good, sometimes shit. I actually think it's like it's comparable. It's like a 4 bingo punches. It has been a very solid build, but the lows have been low for me and the highs have been really high. Does it make sense?
Totally.
Yep, makes sense to me. And
So I didn't do my pick. I think Jess got this one just for story wise and not talking about on the sticks thing. So yeah, I think just for story wise, everybody wants to see Jess come on top, the hero, the face, but maybe the big man's gonna crush him. Who knows? Back to you.
Back to the action.
All right, back to the action. So now we have the 10 years in the making match between the two legends, Mad Michael Morrison and Versus. So for this one, the build, I've put C+, only because there hasn't really been much build since that first sort of surprise of Versus coming out and then Mad Michael Morrison surprising everybody coming out to the ring, and that whole video segment, which was awesome, and it's got me really pumped. But then since then, there hasn't really been much hype on shows, at least that I can remember. Just let me know if you guys, if I'm forgetting something here. But I think the fact that these guys are obviously both legends from long ago sort of gives it that edge to not necessarily need too much build, but at the same time, it would have been nice to see a few RPs here and there, and especially on the Go Home show. But having seen neither of these guys play this season, or and the later games, I'm just going to go with Triple M on this one, just because I like the character and he's a good dude. And I don't really know too much about Versus or his history, so I can't really speak too much on that. But I'm just going to go with Mad Michael for my pick.
Hey, Adam, would you like to go first?
Yeah,
I got this. Okay, so this is pretty much a revisit of a big ass storyline from years ago. Two top dogs from their respective factions, coming head to head. In terms of what they bring to the table, I don't know much. A lot of this happened before my time. The things that I do have awareness of, however, Versus is an amazing character. He is single-handedly responsible for the greatest RP in the history of OCW in terms of the time I've been here, when he did this like video conference telestyle description about Mugen, and it was freaking hilarious. It had me just like rolling in laughter. But Mike is one of my favorite people in OCW. I love talking to that guy. In terms of in-ring characters, I don't have much to go off of with who they currently are. So I don't know what to say in terms of what I should happen or what I think will happen. I don't know how much either one of these guys play ultimately. So I'm going to flip a coin. And that's essentially how I'm going to make my pick. Heads is going to be Mike, and tails is going to be Versus. And tails. Versus is going to win. You heard it here first.
Oh wow, the scoop! You heard it first. Basically, what those other two guys said. I didn't need much build for this one. I was hyped up the minute I saw the video. Even though it wasn't on a show, I popped huge. I know a little bit of backstory, like Adam said, about the faction thing and everything. I never watched, actually, shame on me, Michael Morrison match or versus match. I should do that before Lucian, but it's freaking awesome to have two legends again, because we have legends on the show fighting like 10 years in the making for Lucian. Fits right. I'm very hyped up, and I'm very curious about the states of their game. Like, they didn't play this game a lot, I assume, and it's been a while for them. So Rust in the ring, maybe, but maybe also awesomeness. So for me, it's a 8 out of 10 because I don't know what to expect, but I expect greatness.
Perfect. All right, we're moving on up. We're going to the new school versus old school, Danny Watts against Austin Lee. So for my build, I've put a B for this one. It's been a very consistent build, decent length as well, to build heat. And I think there's definitely heat there, especially with Danny's recent outburst. I think it was on Riot. And, you know, talking mad smack, and Austin Lee's, you know, training role players and stuff with Rex and that whole side of things has built that up quite nicely. And it's, yeah, like I said, been going for a little while now. So hopefully a good payoff at Lucian on this one. But for my pick, I've got Danny taking it. Just I think that recent drubbing of Draven just sort of put him over the top for me as one of the premier rookies in OCW. I really hope that that it turns out to be a banger of a match. I know Austin can bring it on the sticks as well. So, yeah, really looking forward to this one. But yeah, I have to go with Danny for my pick. So, Adam, do you want to take the next?
I'm not going to talk from the story standpoint here. I'll let you guys continue. I'm going to put it like this. This is my least favorite version of Austin Lee ever, and I've been telling him for, you know, like the past year that I hate Fat Lee. It just bugs me. I miss #Lee so very much. I miss Invictus Lee so very much. So the character side of things, trending the wrong way. Not a huge fan of it. I'm not even a huge fan of this whole training thing he's got going right now. It just seems out of the blue and like awkward. Seems very awkward to me. I'm not a huge fan of it. And he knows that I've told him that, you know, plenty of times. I want to see a return of #Lee. Maybe I'll never get that again. But Danny Watts, you know, in terms of his look, his character development and stuff, you know, he got started off rough, spelled some words wrong. Yeah, but now he's kind of trending in the right direction. You know, the face scan and everything coming together, and the attires coming together. The character himself is on a roll. You know, he took it to the limit. Was bingo. He beat Rex. You know, he is a standout. You know, beating Jet Draven. I didn't see that coming because I know how good Jet can be. I don't know if he was off that night, or maybe he doesn't play as much, or maybe Danny just really got that damn good. So in terms of those things, I want to see Danny win, and I think Danny's going to win.
Okay. I'm going to go the opposite direction of you two. I think Austin Lee is going to win. As much as I hate Austin, but I don't hate him, but still I hate him. I think that story with Rex being sort of a mentor, the whole angle after Rex tried to end his life, not only his career, but his life, like a year ago it was, I think. It has been a full circle, and even though Danny racked up pretty big wins, Jet Draven, Rex and all, Rex was his bigger win. He tapped out Rex, so it was a nice touch to add Rex to the Austin Lee story to get him in shape, and with the passion he had before. Even though you don't like him as such, Adam, I like it just for the build to get in shape of Fatty. Always wins with me. And obviously Danny is good. I already told him, but I don't like the face because he seems old. Everybody sees it. Everybody told him, and but he's very good. He's so good on the sticks. But Austin Lee is not bad either. He has a lot of leftovers, and I'm not talking about dinner. But the thing is, I would like to see a fighting Lee, a close match, you know, where Lee at the end, he's too old for that shit. You know, he's just tired, and then the young blood kills him, and it would feel like tragic a bit. You know, a little bit sad to see Lee train that hard to get back in shape. The whole generation, the new generation, passes him by, and then nothing left of Austin Lee. It would be sad, but I want Lee to win because then he talks too much in this build. He's too cocky. He's like, yeah, I'm the new guy. No. Yeah. Austin Lee.
All right. I don't agree with your opinion, but I respect it.
I don't respect your opinion. Rudo, back to you.
All right. Well, the next match we got is the women's title match between Valkyrie, Ashley Moore, and Lotus Flojo. So for me, the build, I've given it a B. There's been some role plays and stuff with this one. I really enjoyed Ashley going back to being a heel, especially with the Blaine pairing. I think that angle's been really fun to follow. And then also Valkyrie sort of leaving Christianity and coming back to sort of resemble a bit of her former self. And then obviously with Lotus coming from being someone who was, you know, a bit inconsistent on the sticks and character-wise, sort of tune that and become someone who you could see winning this match has been really good. So I think that triple threat dynamic between these three is pretty even. I would really love to see Flojo win it all at Lucian, considering her sort of tumultuous history and you know, her efforts to try and ascend the women's rankings. So I'm gonna throw my wild card out there for my pick is Flojo. So Rusty, do you wanna?
Yeah. Obviously, the build for this match suffered from. We all know what it suffered from at first because it wasn't the match schedule, maybe. But I think for the last confrontation between, I assume it's the last, between Ashley Moore and Valkyrie, I think Flojo to the mix is not bad. It's not my favorite build on the show, not gonna lie, but they did a tremendous job either way. So, but it lacks something. I love that Ashley has Blaine, to back her up, but it misses something for me. It's all good, but it misses something, and it feels like I saw Ashley versus Valkyrie a million times, even though maybe it was twice. So maybe it's been building for too long. I don't know. I really don't know about this, but it's still gonna be a good match. Maybe the wild card, which is Flojo, will win, but I think that Ashley is going to retain because Ashley is on a roll as a champion. It's been champion for almost a year, it seems like. So, yeah, I think I want to see Ashley retain, actually. Back to you, Adam.
All right, I'm going to fantasy book this. Like, I'm going to say what I want to happen for this match and then moving forward, because I've had a ton of fun working with Ashley. I didn't really expect to. But my theory is if someone asks you to work with them, let me rephrase it. If someone asks you to partner with them or be part of their group and stuff, just like with Castianti, you should say yes in most cases. Because, hey, if you're not willing to work for somebody, then how can you ever expect anybody to work for you as like a leader or something? So I've enjoyed kind of the everything that's going on. And, yeah, more people should do that. But anyways, fantasy booking this. Here's exactly what I think should happen if I was booking it. Obviously, things will be different than what I say because, hey, that's the way things go. Lotus Flojo wins. Lotus Flojo has her moment. Much more consistent this year. Everything's been much better this year. Beat me. And if you can beat me without, having, quick moves and no majors in your moveset, and not playing cheesy, then you can beat anybody. So Lotus Flojo wins. Ashley and Valkyrie go on to the next pay-per-view and have their final match ever. Okay, and they face each other. Okay, later in the night, Lotus Flojo faces Blaine for the title. Moore comes out, interferes, causes Blaine to lose because she can't deal with the jealousy of Blaine potentially winning the championship, setting up a Moore versus Blaine feud to carry us through the next couple of weeks. months, maybe even going into 20, whereas Valkyrie would beat Moore that night. Valkyrie would then return to beat Lois Flojo, and we would get the one-on-one to see if Flojo is truly 100% legit. That's what I want to see.
Long-term booking. Okay. Fancy.
Thank you.
I like it.
Oh, I like it.
Now, who's going to win? Valkyrie.
Okay. Good.
All right. And the final match of the evening for the OCW World Championship, we have Trey Golden versus H2O. And for me, this one, I haven't found the build to be that, what's the word? Like, for lack of a better word, just like a big build for a championship match. I think there has been moments during the season, like when Trey and I think it was H2O and who was the other person in the match? I think it was TY Sparks when they had the triple threat. Was it Sparks?
Yeah, I think yeah.
And Trey, I think Trey pinned H2O. So that moment I can remember, and then there's sort of just been like little digs here and there between the two, but I'm probably forgetting some role plays in the build up here. But for me, it hasn't been as big as it should have been. Maybe is a way of describing it. I just don't. There's just not as much heat, I guess, as some other matches on the card. It's definitely one I'm still looking forward to because I still want to see Trey, in a main event match. I think he's done a tremendous job as a Pride champion, and so I still am looking forward to the match. My pick, I didn't even write my pick down, but my pick is Trey to uncrown H2O in this one and go on to be an OCW champion. So, Adam, I will let you take the next.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so the build has been underwhelming to me as well. I wouldn't say it's my least favorite, but certainly not my favorite. In terms of, I've played both of them, fought both of them. They're both quality. I think H2 is more unpredictable in his nature of how he's going to go about things, which therefore potentially makes him easier to beat and also makes him harder to beat because, if he's missing stuff, he's damaging himself. But if he's not, and he's actually hitting you like when he won the title, then that makes him incredibly dangerous. Trey, much more grounded, much more to the point. He puts himself in less bad positions, ultimately. So it's going to be a question of which kind of H2O shows up for it. The fact that Trey lost the perfect circle and then moved up certainly doesn't bother me. He was tired, lost the match. Now he's moving up. Is he ready for it? Questionable. But at the same time, he's here. And he had a good run. He did what he had to do. This is his opportunity to shine. With that said, H2O has more experience with this pulse-pounding, can I do it kind of moments. And I give the advantage to H2O with it. So in terms of that, H2O, I think, will win this match. But I don't think this feud is remotely over, and I think there is a lot more that can be done moving into the future. And I would not be surprised if I was to see the same matchup at the next pay-per-view. Don't know quite what pay-per-view that's going to be. Don't know even when it's going to be. But if I was a betting man, I would bet that I'm going to see this match, regardless of who wins, at the next pay-per-view.
It's a great point. I'll follow you on both of your opinions. First off, when it was announced with the bill, Trey versus H2O, I was like, I like both guys, but I was like, I don't know about that. Trey lost. He was a good Pride champion, don't get me wrong, but I was like, is this the matchup I want to see at Lucian for the world title? Trey versus H2O. I didn't knew the bill was not say average, but it was not a palpable tension between those two like we saw with all the matchups on the card. But H2O had his moments during the build. I love the drink moments. I love the drunk main event and everything. and he had more layers to his persona in this build than any other. I think it's not like he's saying like against Doc, I'm the best, I'm gonna win and everything. He's taking it too lightly maybe, and maybe it's gonna cost him. But I still think H2O is gonna walk out of Lucian champion, win the main event. But like Adam said, I don't think it's the last match between the two. I think there's more to it because they could do much more with this feud because they didn't do really enough for a world title fight. It's going to be a great match, I'm sure of it, because the two are unpredictable. On the sticks, I fought both. RV has been a long time since I fought him, but not long ago I fought Trey, and it is really good. So yeah, H2O to win the match, but I can see pop tension like Trey hitting the spear, and then H2O using Rizal, and then one finisher at a time, both kicking out, and one final finisher for H2O, control down for Trey, and that's it. But that's not the end of that feud, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped up. What's the note? Yeah, let me bring up the notes. I gave that a 6.5 out of 10 for now. Depends on how the match goes, but yeah, that's your main event of night 2 and Wrestlution, not Prime. Rudo,
Indeed.
back to you.
All right. Well, considering that's the last match on the card, that will be all from us. So maybe if we just go around and have some closing thoughts about the Lucian, what you're looking forward to Lucian the most, and just how you think it's shaped up this year. So I'll go first. So I honestly think this card is like super stacked, and I honestly think everyone's done like a really good job of building their matches to Lucian. I think everyone's sort of at a point where they know that you need to sort of step your game up if you want to get on Lucian, and I think everybody's done that. So round of applause to the whole OCW community for pulling together and getting these stories all marching along and Lucian worthy. I think the match I'm looking forward to the most is that 6-man CCW title match. Not only for the complete, chaos of the match itself, but the complete unpredictability of who's going to come out as the champion at the end of all this and sort of change the CCW title landscape for the foreseeable future. Adam, do you want to take us on your final thoughts?
Yeah. Actually, when my closing thoughts was going to be, which match do you most look forward to? You kind of already gave yours, so I might as well, shoot mine in there. The match that I am looking most forward to, it's Thomas Archer versus Doc Green is up there. That's a big one that I'm really looking forward to. If I was just talking about viewership, obviously I would be really looking forward to watching the CCW championship match. I feel that it has been the most consistent build through, and it has lasted a very long time. If you think about the perspective of all these characters clashing against each other, this entire feud has been building for 6 or 7 months now. When you look at like the starting point of it all and how everything got to this point, like it has been a very long build. It's taken up, and it really hit its stride about 2 months ago. But there was elements of it building since then. So Archer, for the sake of saying, hey, I'm not going to pick my own match to be the one that I'm looking most forward to. The one I'm looking most forward to would then, be Doc Green versus Thomas Archer, because I believe that whoever wins, and I picked Green to win, but I hope Archer wins. Whoever wins this match, I believe, would have a legitimate claim to be the number one contender to the OCW championship, regardless if there's going to be, say, like a match between Trey and H2O at the next pay-per-view. These guys, I think, is the number one contenders match right here. So that's the match I'm actually looking forward to the most.
Cool. I agree with that last point as well about the number one contendership.
Okay.
Rusty.
I was looking up at the card to see what matchup I was most hyped to. Hyped for, sorry. I'm not gonna say our match because we've been part of that match, so I'm not that greedy. I would say Austin Lee, Danny Watts, like the passing of the torch. Grim versus Jehst, non-title matches actually. That's the two most. Yeah, that's my two matches I want to see. Oh no, and Matt Morrison against versus, just for the sake of, and Monster Ball too. There's just a lot of matches.
You have to pick one, damn it. That's the whole point of this.
Let me pick Danny Watts against Austin Lee.
Okay.
And Jehst against Grim. And but no.
Ooh, I want this. Ooh, I want that. Ooh, I want that. Ooh, that looks good. Ooh.
It's a very stacked card, so I totally get it.
It's a very stacked thing, and everybody did their job in the build-up. Even though I said, the least favorite is the women's one, or Trey and H2O didn't hit the stride really well. I love all the builds. I'm just comparing it to the other builds, but all the builds are good. I enjoyed all of the Wrestlution, and I can't wait to be at the paper for real. I'm a mark this time, and I'm critical about wrestling, but this time, this card, I'm really excited. So back to you, Rudo, and fuck you, Adam.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate your guys' time jumping on the cast. It's been a blast having a conversation about OCW. So everybody, make sure you tune in to Wrestlution, and if you're not sure when that is, look it up on the website. It's on the Discord. It's everywhere. And I will say this is definitely shaping up to be what it should be for OCW, which is the pay-per-view of the year.
With the first world champion from France. Spoiler.
What do you put your? Let's be honest. Your chances are what here?
1 out of 6, like everybody else.
Statistically, your probability decreases as the match goes longer.
Was this going to turn into a Scott Steiner promo?
I was thinking about it, but I already actually wrote one, and then I got rid of it.
I'm half the man that you are.
Nobody understood what I was getting at. I'm like, okay. So, go ahead.
Back to the action. I will say on that note, really looking forward to the pay-per-view. It's going to be awesome. Make sure you tune in. And so with that, I will say goodbye, everybody. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. And we'll see you at Lucian.
Goodbye, everybody. Enjoy.